Hey, this is MiracleMax. Welcome to Rise of Civilizations, and in this case, welcome to Arabia. After the update that happened, about 20 hours ago, the new civilizations were released, and I picked Arabia. And a big reason for this is I wanted to test out the new commanders the game had released for us. And Arabia is set up to do cavalry attacks and deal damage to barbarians and other neutral units and damage by rally armies. So when you see the combination of cavalry attack and damage dealt to barbarians and other neutral units, you think, okay, cavalry and peacekeeper. So what did the game do? Well, it added in a couple new epic commanders. And one of the new epic commanders that it added in, we'll pull them up here, is Belisarius. And Belisarius is a cavalry peacekeeping mobility unit. And if we thought before this update that the game lent itself to cavalry type play, well, the developers just confirmed it. If you look at the epic tier, before this update, we had one cavalry commander in the epic tier. And I'm not even sure if any of us really considered him as a real commander. I don't know anybody who used him. Pelagius. Pelagius is cavalry garrison and skill, and he was before this the only epic commander that had cavalry. We had two legendary in Cao Cao and Minamoto. We had one in elite, Lancelot, and one in advanced, and that was Dragon Lancer. And compared across the board, most of the time, Lancelot and Dragon Lancer were preferable to Pelagius. He just did, I think, because his second um, main talent is garrison, it really took away a lot of the power that we were seeing out of the other options. So if we look at Pelagius' skill, direct damage of 300, which is really low, additional damage factor of 300, and rage restored of 100. And the rage restore is probably the best out of that. His cavalry, he has attack and defense bonuses of 10, which isn't bad, but that's really the end of his cavalry skills. And the one thing he's missing that both Lancelot and Dragon Lancer had was march speed. And Lancelot has 5% march speed, but he also has the mobility tree. And the mobility tree is simply speed. So Lancelot could outrun other troops. If we go down to Dragon Lancer, and again, just an advanced commander, he has a speed bonus of 10%. So he's doubling up already on Pelagius, and he also has the mobility tree. So both Dragon Lancer and Lancelot could fly by Pelagius. So we ignore Pelagius, and really, if you were running epic armies, or I'm sorry, cavalry armies, you needed Cao Cao or Minamoto, paired usually with Lancelot or Dragon Lancer, until this update. So we've added in two new commanders who are cavalry in the epic tier. The first one, Belisarius, cavalry, peacekeeping, and mobility. So if we look at his skills, his first skill is a lot of reduction. Um, Attack reduction, defense reduction, and if you see, I've already maxed this skill out. I actually took him up to 3 stars, and I got really lucky. I wanted to max out his first and third skills before working on the second one, and roll of the dice, that's what happened. So I got exactly what I wanted for his starting out weights. His direct damage factor of 450, that's already greater than what Pelagius offered. And so first skill wise, he's already got him beat. Second skill is damage to barbarians and other neutral units, and I can build that up as I get more sculptures. His third skill has a defense bonus of 15% for cavalry and a march speed bonus of 25%. Now read the rest of that, for 10 seconds after leaving a battle. So if you want to hit and run, Belisarius can fly. Fourth skill is his damage goes up when his army gets smaller. Not bad, not great, just a skill. And then his expertise skill takes that third skill, which I love so much, it increases the defense by 30%, and that march speed of 25% for leaving a battle jumps up to 50%. So, no question that if you want to hit and run, this is a great commander. I said there were two, though, and the second cavalry commander that got introduced to the game is Baibars. And Baibars is cavalry, conquering, and skill. So one thing that um, Baibars has that Belisarius doesn't, new names, got to get used to him, is he has a skill component, which means on his tree, he's going to be able to deal his rage damage at a lot higher level. But what he doesn't have is he doesn't have a mobility tree. So you cannot speed him up past what is available in his skills. So let's take a quick look at his skills. And this one is pretty exciting because this one, direct damage of 750, but that is to up to 3 targets. So yes, we have an area of effect cavalry commander, and this is the first one in the game. All the other cavalry commanders are a one-on-one as far as hitting, but he can hit 3 different targets at the same time. Can I say expedition? Great time to use him. He also reduces the march speed of the enemy. So if you're being chased, he can slow down the guys chasing you by up to 30%. His second skill, attack bonus, 20% for cavalry. Third skill is garrison related, attacking other cities, and that's not something I would recommend using him for. There's several other commanders who that is more what they're made for. His fourth skill, and this is a matching skill to what we saw with Belisarius. I'm going to get the name right eventually. After exiting the battle, and this is key, not routed, so you did not lose, a portion of the slightly wounded units will be healed, and the march speed will increase for 10 seconds. And that goes up to 50%. And that matches what we saw in Belisarius when his 25 went to 50% with the expertise. So if we go to the expertise skill, what this does is it increases from 3 targets being hit at the same time up to 5. And also it reduces the target's march speed. So we have 2 cavalry epic commanders. One can hit multiple targets. One has higher mobility. Belisarius has more defense or debuffs associated with him, where Baibars has more skill, more damage associated with him. So comparing the two of them, I thought, well, instead of comparing the two of them, why don't we pair them together and have a little fun with them? And because of the sculptures I got, Belisarius is a 3-star and Baibars is a 1-star, so that means we know who I'm going to have to use as a primary commander. So we'll go to the battlefield, and here's my Arabian city. It's really hard when you change civilizations because none of the buildings look the same. So it took me a long time to figure out where my hospitals were and what buildings I have. Let's go ahead and get my chest so it'll start the timer down again. Nothing interesting there. And let's go out in the battlefield and hit a barbarian. We'll go with the level 19 up here. And we're going to select Baibars, or I'm sorry, we'll select Belisarius as our primary, and we'll put Baibars as our secondary. And there he is. And to make this unit work really well, we need to make sure we only have cavalry. Mamluk is the cavalry unit associated with the Arabian civilization. So we want to get him. We want to get our heavy cavalry. I'm going to have to train a lot more cavalry if I'm planning on running a cavalry unit, because I only have 71,000 cavalry available to me right now. I must have some out on the battlefield. Hang on real quick. Let's see. Let's see where they are, if they're close by and I can call them home. Please pause for station identification. No, I'm just going to go with what we have. 29,000 with City Keeper. I guess we could call City Keeper home and get a few more. Let's see how far away he is. We'll just have to remember where that is and go back and finish it. So, all right, he's going to be marching for a while because I am way, way up north from there. All right, in fact, we're just going to go back to him and put those troops back in. There's no sense in waiting 5 minutes for him to march home. All right, so smaller army. I apologize for that. I didn't plan ahead very well to make sure I had the right troops at home. I was too excited to get on and play with this. So I'm not sure if 19 is within the reach of this army size, but we'll sure give it a try. All right, here we go again. Belisarius and Baibar. All right, back to all cavalry. No crossbows. Even one unit of another type can really throw us off. So we want to make sure everybody else is set at 0. This is a neck and neck battle, 71,000. So let's see how fast they go. And for this unit, the more important speed is going to be when they leave the battle, because Belisarius has that skill maxed out. So let's go ahead and march. And already, obviously, this is a fast-moving unit, and you can tell just by how quickly they're covering that distance compared to a mixed army. So that is partly cavalry, and that's the mobility tree that I started to build for Belisarius. With these new commanders, trying to figure out their talent trees at the beginning is hard. And one thing I will say is Belisarius, his talents match exactly with Cao Cao. So if you have a Cao Cao build, I would just duplicate it for him. That's a great place to start. And now we're going to run into trouble here because of Baibar's area of effect is going to hit that level 20, and we're going to be engaged in battle with 2 troops, and there it happens. So one of the downfalls of having an area of effect is that you may engage enemies that you did not plan on engaging. And while this saves action points if I'm strong enough to beat them both, I get credit for killing them both. But if I lose, I'm going to be really bummed. So good test for them, level 19 and level 20 barbarians for these brand new, just out of the box commanders. And let's see how they do. So who would I pick as a primary out of these two? I think because if I was to run them as this duo unit, like we're doing, and I'm going to have to camp him because he's going to run away in the middle of the battle, and we don't want that to happen. We want to continue fighting. If I was to run these as a duo, because Belisarius has a mobility tree, and we can get a lot of extra speed that way, I would run him as the primary and run Baibar as the secondary. And Baibar's skill, his skill tree, though we won't be able to use that with Baibar as secondary, at least we'll be getting the area of effect out of him regardless, and we'll be getting the march speed upon exiting a battle from him also. So they're going to win this battle, and I want to see how fast they leave, because they should just run home based on their exiting battle speed. And if I had a timer set up, I'd time it. But, we're just going to watch and see how fast this happens. I'm so glad they won. That would have really sucked if they lost. But, hey, we're learning. As far as area of effect commanders in the epic tier, we have Sun Tzu and we have Kusunoko Masashige. So that covers archers, and that covers infantry. And so I guess it makes sense to add an area of effect for cavalry, since that didn't exist. Didn't exist in the game, let alone at the epic tier. So they're not moving very fast, but that could be just because I camped them. So let's go ahead and head home and heal real quick, and then send them right back out and see if we can watch that damage. And I can't go home without collecting. I don't know what it is. Having things sitting on my screen can drive me a little crazy. All these little pop-ups. Oh, look, I get more Dragon Lancer. Yay, Dragon Lancer. who has now become less important in the game. And I feel bad for him. He was really the most useful advanced level commander there was, and now he's lost his purpose. So we might have to look at him again and turn him into a gatherer. Um, one thing on these advanced commanders, while we're waiting for troops to heal, that you should know is if they have the versatility tree, and let's see if he does. He does. The versatility tree, we're just going off on a side note here, has a couple things on it that are interesting. And if I'm not going to be using him for cavalry or mobility anymore, then his most likely use is going to be for gathering. And if you go into the um, versatility tree, I can pick up when that's maxed. I think it's 25% gathering speed. And it's worth spending the talents to figure it out because it's only 4 talent points and he's pretty cheap to 1, 2, 3, 4. He's pretty cheap to upgrade. So let's go see what that percent is. So I think I need more because I have to get there. 1, 2, 3. All right, well, now I'm committed. I need 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 15%. So 15% additional gathering speed. And so, when you are having one of those days where you're sending 5 groups of gatherers out, it's not a bad idea to take these advanced commanders and go ahead and use that talent portion on the tree and pick up things that you could use in other ways. Because advanced commanders don't have very many uses, so it's okay to do that. All right, let's go back and see if our troops are trained up. $15. And which ones are my cavalry? I'm just going to have to quick heal these just so I can get some more troops in that army because that army felt really light to me. So we'll just throw down another, just train what we have in here. And look at me wasting minutes. And we'll go ahead and upgrade some of these lower tier ones while we're there. I think I just, by doing that, made my army the same size. All right. Okay, so this time when we attack a barbarian, we're going to look for one that's by himself. Because we don't want to end up in that double battle again. All right, we'll hit this level 20. I can't see that 19 running that far, but you never know. Okay, there's our 2 commanders. Let's get the right troops. Yep, same exact army side. All right, 56 seconds march. Let's watch them go. Let's watch them fly across the map. And really, when you're dealing with cavalry, the reason you train all cavalry and go with all cavalry is because of their speed. Set everything else aside. If you can move faster across the map, then you're going to have people chasing you rather than you being chased. It's very hard to chase down an all cavalry unit, especially when they have this exiting battle extra march speed. So this should go fairly quickly, especially because we're only going to hit 1 this time instead of 2. And when you think about if you're team Belisarius or your team Baibar, it depends on your style of play. It depends on if you'd rather get in and out more quickly because of the mobility tree, or if you're more interested in the area of effect, because really that's where the balance is, and maybe running them both together is the best answer. I'm not sure of that yet. As far as for barbarians, it's not what I would choose. If I'm just out killing barbarians, I would put Lohar first and Belisarius second and go all cavalry and get that experience buff and then use that speed that Belisarius has. And that being said, Lohar has a ton of speed built into him with his talent tree for peacekeeping has 18% speed in it. And then his support tree has a talent called Hasty Departure. And I'll show you that in just a minute because we want to see how fast these guys head home. But that hasty departure means when he leaves a structure, he's flying. So those two together, I think would be a great combination for attacking barbarians with all cavalry. And I'm going to play with that. Like I said, Lohar is primary and Belisarius as secondary. And probably use it too to level up Belisarius because Lohar gives such an experience point buff. And let's go look at Lohar real quick while they're returning home. You know, I have to heal first though because that's a button that I have to hit and I have to collect because I cannot resist. I always hit the courier too, at least that time I didn't. So let's go in real quick and I'm going to change my sort order because it's really bugging me. So real quick, in Lohar, there were two things I was talking about. The first thing I was talking about was hasty departure, and that's in his support tree. So when he leaves a structure, increases march speed by 60% for next 10 seconds. And a structure is your city. A structure is a research node, a flag, another governor's city, a center fort. So you can bounce from structure to structure and move really fast with Lohar. In addition to that, on his talent tree, on his Peacekeeper, he has sprinkled throughout speed. So there's 9% there. I'm trying to think. There's another 3% there. Health. There's another 6% there. So that's already the 18% that we were talking about. So 18% speed on that tree plus this hasty departure. And then you throw Belisarius in as the secondary with all the speed that he offers in his third skill, this march speed bonus of 25%. Then you add in the fact that you're running cavalry. And I think that that unit for attacking barbarians will be extremely, extremely good. And the one other thing I was talking about with Lohar is this experience point increase, and I need to get that one maxed. Wow, I need to run some Lohars. But 70% additional experience points for Lohar and his secondary commander. So I'm going to use that to get Belisarius up, and then I'll use it to get Baibar up too, and play with those and see which combination I like better. So, all right, Team Belisarius, Team Baibar. I think at this moment, I'm going to say Team Belisarius. Agree with me, disagree with me. Hey, there's a whole comment section, a whole area for you to like or dislike this video. I promise if you leave a comment, I will reply. I'm pretty fast about it. And since this is all new content, I am way curious to see what you see. You know, this is my eyes looking at this. This is from my style of gameplay. And so you may play the game differently than I do, and you may see something totally different. So, hey, I appreciate you watching. If you like this video, like it. Leave a comment so I can reply to you. Subscribe. I want to cover all of these new commanders, as well as the new civilizations. I did put out 3 videos. I stayed up really late to record them right when the update happened. And I want to go into a lot more detail in upcoming videos. So, all right, thanks for your time. I'm sorry I ran a bit long, but I kind of am enjoying this new content. So I hope you are too. You have a great night. Bye-bye.